Hello, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Larissa and I do DIYs in this channel, and I'm bringing you another one today, and it's inspired by the really awesome Disney pass holders I saw in Japan on vacation recently. These Disney pass holders I've seen come in many different styles. Either they're sequins, embroidered, flat, with deco designs on them, or they're just completely plushified. I've seen them hanging off people's backpacks, the accordion strap, or even hanging around your neck to add the extra Disney style to your outfit for the day. So recently I went to Disneyland with my friend Brittany. We Disney bounded, and I really wanted to make her a gift and something really cute and stylish to wear with her Disney bound. So today I'm going to show you how to make the DIY I made her, and I'm excited for you guys to inspired to make your own. So let's get started. So let's get started with materials. So first you'll need some paper of your choice. You can use paper or construction paper or newspaper. Go green, that'd be really cool if you could. Fusible interfacing, this one's a medium weight. This one's the kind you can iron on directly to your fabric. I'll go in more to that later. You also need some vinyl that's medium weight as well, nothing too light, nothing too heavy. Some fabric of your choice. You will also need some felt in the matching colors of your character you're choosing to put on your Disney pass holder. This is optional, but I'm going to use paint for my design. You can stick solely to the felt if you would like. You will also need an iron and an ironing board. You will need some pins. You will also need some matching thread for the felt you chose for your character's design. You will also need a hand sewing needle. You will need some fabric scissors and some crafting scissors. You will need a pencil, and you will also need a sewing machine, a zipper foot, and you will also need some matching bobbins for your thread. So let's get started. So the inspiration, if you couldn't guess already, is Marie from Aristocats. So I did a little doodle trying to decide her face structure and understand just how wide I want to do it, and I also consider the fact when I'm drawing this, it has to fit the pass holder to fit inside this little lanyard character slip, for lack of a better word. Yeah, so I drew the design as a sample first, and then I'm redrawing it on the paper that I told you in the beginning to draw. You could draw both sides, but since her face is identical on both sides, I decided to stick to just one, and then when I cut it out, cut it on the fold. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing right now. I'm laying it down on the fold so her face is identical on the other side. So as you can tell here, after I've cut out her face, really it is just her face that I've cut out in pattern form. So now I need to transfer some of the smaller details onto scrap pieces of paper, like her eyes and her nose, her ear hollows, and then her little tuft that comes out her head, and her little bow. So once you have copied your design, you literally have all the pieces, you're going to do the background design, I guess would be the best reference for this, because her head I just made is made out of the white felt, and the material of your choice that I said in the beginning is her background fabric. So it's the fabric that she's going to be sewn to, and I decided to go with that fabric because I thought it went with the aesthetic for it. So right now I'm just kind of copying the shape of her head, and I'm doing about a ½ inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch would be safer to say, only because I eyeballed it. But you have to consider seam allowance too, so I would say about 3/4 bigger all the way around. You can take a ruler to this, it would be easier to do, but I'm all about eyeballing. I don't know, it's just one of the things I do. It has to look visually good to me. And don't forget to write down all the details on your pattern, how many you need to cut, what it's called. So if you ever want to revisit this pattern again or change it, you can. It won't be a problem. You'll be like, oh my god, what is this piece? I don't even know. But please mark it. It'll be easier for you in the future if you ever want to alter or change. So now I'm going to figure out how big I need the pocket to be. So I don't actually own a pass holder for Disney. I know it's terribly sad. Someday I'll get it though. But my friend Brittany does have the pass. So I remember that it's pretty close to a credit card, or in this case, a merchant card. This one's for CVS. Go CVS. So yeah, I am copying the hollow of it. So when she puts it in the sleeve, that the whole design will be exposed. And again, do the same thing, creating like an outer measurement so it will slide in and be snug but not too small for the card or too big. You'll see, it'll make more sense as you go along here, like what I exactly mean. It's a little hard to explain, but yeah, so just do this first and then you're also going to cut it out as well. With your crafting scissors, make sure you cut the inside and the outside window like I said before. Make sure it fits into the base background of her little head. Now we're going to do the actual fabric-y part. You'll see I have zippers right here, which I didn't mention in the beginning. I added them later and I'll explain why. It's just a better design choice. So yeah, let's get started with our base fabric. So your fabric, your choice. With your fusible interfacing, you're going to be using your iron with your ironing board. So the pilly side of the fusible interfacing, you're going to put against the wrong side of the fabric. Make sure they're almost identical in size, and when you cut your fabric, you will need it at least big enough to do 2 pieces of the base fabric, and do it on a medium setting. And when you iron, all the little pilly things on the fusible interfacing will release its gluey texture onto the fabric to make it stiffer. This is easier because our design will last longer. You will also need a little strip. This little guy is going to loop on the top of the lanyard. I chose to do this last minute. I was going to do something different, but just iron that guy down. And this piece right here is a little square. You'll recognize it. I'll show you here in a second what exactly it is. It's actually the window for the pass holder. You'll see it makes a little more sense after I'm done, but I am again doing another little fusible piece. The reason why we're doing it, there you go. See how it's more than enough room. It's bigger than it's supposed to be. Perfect. You also need to do your vinyl here too. Vinyl ironing sounds terrible to say out loud, but it is wrinkly. So on a really low setting, use some whatever fabric and iron with that on top of the vinyl to get it flat. I didn't show it here. Don't know why I didn't show it here. Sorry about that. But yeah, on a really, really low setting, put fabric in between the vinyl and the iron, and on a really low setting, just do a quick little whoop, and then it should flatten out all the little wrinkles. So once you have done the interfacing to the main fabric, I am tracing out the little head now. This is including seam allowance, so I am directly copying with a pencil 2 of the heads. Once you have cut out both heads on the line with a base fabric, you're going to go ahead and pin this little window opening. We're just going to cut out the outer measurement of the window. This will make a little more sense as we go along here, and the pattern making is a little hard to explain, mostly because a lot of the homework is in my head and it's really difficult to put into words. But I'm a big visual aid person, so hopefully this example, physically me showing you, will also help. So we're also going to test out the little pocket window for the card, make sure it fits in the base. If it's too big, just trim it down a little bit, but mine works for what we're doing. So now we're going to put this aside temporarily, and we're going to get started on the actual Marie design. So using the other base head, I'm just using this so you can see where we're going with this. I'm going to take the little base white Marie that we drew in the original, and you can see it looks great so far, yeah! You're going to pull out your white felt, which is what Marie is, mostly a white cat. So other than her beautiful little cute pink ears and her little blue eyeball was an adorable. Now you're gonna pin the base down and go all the way around. You could trace this here, but it's a little hard to draw on felt, so I'm just gonna directionally pin it all the way around. And this is something, a side note, just when you're buying felt, it comes in two different options, usually a soft felt or a hard felt. It's really starchy and stiff. I prefer the hard felt. It's easier to work with and it's less chances of elasticity, being pilly and gross later on, so I prefer to do it that way. So I pinned the white base to the head, as you can tell, and put it aside, and now I'm going to get started on the vinyl that we gently ironed before. So again, you're just cutting out the outer measurement because we're preparing it for the window. It's really hard to see and I'm sorry about that. Yeah, so here I am gonna now trace the inner window, which is what you're going to see for the card, so what's actually exposed. As you can see right here, this looks kind of funky because I'm kind of drawing on the wrong side. But just be patient, I swear it's going to make more sense. So just trace the inner window and yeah, and then we'll be cutting that out here in a minute. After you have cut out the little window here, we're going to take our vinyl, again really hard to see because it's clear. You're going to put it on the back side of the piece and gently pin around the opening. So it's a little hard because with clear acrylic, once you make that puncture you can't take it back. So do it on the overlap where the window is, don't do it on the window part, we won't see any holes in the window, but on the part where the vinyl overlaps the fabric, and gently pin around it. I call this a directional pin. It means I can sew through my machine with this. You're going to do a zigzag stitch around the opening, and you're also going to do a zigzag stitch around Marie where the edge of Marie's design and the felt is touching the fabric. Zigzag stitch in this regard would be used for kind of like an overlay, or it's kind of hard to explain. I guess it would be treated as an applique too. But yes, so this little pocket that we made for the pass holder to slide the little card in, I am going to fold over on one lip because that's the edge that's going to be open to slide the card in, and I want it to look nice, so I'm rolling over just a little bit and then doing a straight stitch to top stitches so it looks nice. So since we have everything out, I decided to cut everything out here. I'm using my pink felt right now to cut all the pinks out, like her ears and her nose and the bow, and also did the blue for her eyes. And yeah, I decided to get all the parts out of the way as quick as possible. Again, a little harder to trace the design onto the felt, so I'm gently pinning and cutting to make the design as nice as possible. Yes, the sewing part. So the applique zigzag stitch I talked about is going to be the widest setting you can do, which is a 4 for me on my machine. And you're going to gently, as you can see right here, a little easier to see, is you're going to zigzag right on the edge where the vinyl touches the fabric. And I'm doing it both on the front and back side. You're going to go slow here because your vinyl is not going to like going to this machine. But after you've done that, you're going to do your little Marie head. And the same thing, you're just going to do the zigzag stitch on the edge where the felt touches the fabric. And make sure you do the forward and back stitch like when you start and when you end, just so everything's locked in and looks nice. So since I'm here at the sewing machine, I am now doing the straight stitch for that lip that I was talking about. So once you have done all of those, we're going to do the pinks now on the Marie head, and be sure to change out your sewing machine for the pink thread now. and I'm pinning down the little Marie bow on her head and the hollows of her ears. And I am temporarily right now skipping the nose and the eyes because those will not be put in the machine. I'm going to hand sew those because they're a little smaller and I don't want them to slip while sewing. So taking the piece that you did the vinyl opening, there's a lot of overlap on the other side. I did that on purpose so I had more than enough room while I'm sewing. So you can see I'm just going to trim it away now because it's safe now that I've done the zigzag stitch to cut it and trim it as close as possible to the zigzag stitch line. Yes, back to the zipper. I am so sorry about this. I didn't mention this in the beginning. I did change the design as I was brainstorming from the beginning to this point right now. So the zipper is actually 2.5 inches, which is perfect for my zipper opening. I actually saved this from the Japan Daiso store. I really like these two-tone zippers. They're super cute. But anyway, so I decided to use this for this project. I am now taking the pocket and pinning around the vinyl opening. The reason why is this is going to act within a pocket within a pocket. So it's a little hard again to explain. You'll see once, it'll make more sense once we see the ending. But there we go. That's what it looks like. It's really, really cute. So the little pass holder is ever out of the pocket. You can see the pretty black and white design fabric we originally designed for it. Yes, this is me just double checking the zipper opening. So if your zipper is close to the same size, you can buy a zipper like this, trim a zipper that's longer. It's also another whole thing to go through for this. You're going to measure the zipper and you're going to copy that length of the zipper to put above the pocket hole where we made for the pass holder. So this is a little tricky. Just try your best to see where I'm going with this visually. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's really hard to explain. I'm not really sure where to go with this, but it's tricky. But yeah, so cut out, draw a line for the zipper, and you're gonna do this kind of like bracket design that's gonna make room for the zipper stopper and the zipper ender. So you're gonna go ahead and cut that line that you just made. So once you have cut out that line, you're going to lay it down against the zipper and gently peel back so the raw edge won't be exposed, and lay it around the zipper. This is a really small zipper, so it's going to take a little fussing with it to make this work, mostly because it's so small and dainty. So yeah, just gently peel back around it and pin around the zipper. So once you have pinned the zipper gently around, you're going to change your sewing machine for a zipper foot, and we're going to sew as close to the zipper as we can all the way around. That's like a whole nother thing to explain. If you don't know how to do a zipper, that gets a little tricky. I'm not showing in this video. You would have to look up a separate YouTube video to figure that out. I'm sorry. Zippers are not my favorite to explain. One day I'll get better at that and I will explain that to you, and I will be brave enough to do it. So once you have done the zigzag stitch for all the pinks and the strap, we're going to get started on the other details on Marie's face, which is her eyeballs and her nose. So once you have pinned down her eyes and her nose in the placement you want them to be, you're going to take your hand sewing needle and thread it with the appropriate matching thread. I am doing her nose first, And yeah, this stitch is kind of straightforward. It's just you start from the bottom with the knotted end on your hand sewing needle. Knots are kind of, you know, a preference. Some people do different knots differently, but you're gonna start from the bottom, pull your way up through the bottom of the design, and then up and down, and just work your way around the nose. This is just a really easy top stitch method, and this is going to be seen, so just keep that in mind that your stitch work is going to be really obvious. So try your best to make it look as clean as possible. When I pull up from the bottom, I get really close to where the white and the pink are, and then pull it all the way through, and then when I drop it back down from the top to the bottom, I start from the pink down. It's a little weird to explain that. I don't know why it's always so strange to say out loud to someone, but once you have finished working your way all the way around, you're going to tie a knot off the back, and then you're going to get started on the eyes. So I actually didn't have blue for this project, red, I don't really know why, but I chose to do white, mostly because it's a very pastel blue that I'm using, so white won't really be that obvious. So yeah, just working your way around the eyeballs and the same to both of them. And now I'm going to attach the strap. So the strap's going to look like this. This is why we made the strap, so it'll be easy to attach to her lanyard. Although that's what it's going to look like when it's finished, that's not how we can sew it. So I made the strap a little bit longer. It ended up being like a 4-inch strap length, but I made it a little bit longer when I sewed the piece, only because I wanted to have the availability to make it bigger or smaller, however I felt. So although that's how it's going to look, you have to sew it on the right sides together. This is a little tricky to explain also, only in regard of because you're working on the outside in right now. So just face the little hanging strap, face the right sides facing together. And once you have tacked that down, we're going to also face the right sides together from the base zipper opener where you see the pass to the design. You'll see here in a moment, and we'll pin that all the way around and leave an opening on the bottom because we have to have an opening to turn it right side out. So once you have done that straight stitch all the way around, make sure you left that bottom open, and when you do the straight stitch all the way around, make sure your 3/4 edge is hanging off, so you're close to the edge but not right on the edge. Now I'm taking my scissors to trim around, not trim, I guess pinking will be the right word. The reason why you're doing this like a hula skirt kind of effect all the way around the wrong side, it's easier to turn it right side out. So once you've done that all the way around the outside, make sure you don't cut your straight stitch. You're going to gently turn it right side out. The corners will be a little tricky. Sometimes you'll use a little pencil to get in there and help push out the corners a little bit. I think I did that right here. But yeah, once you have done that, you're going to do a straight stitch all the way around. Make sure you tuck in the bottom right here, like right there, I'm doing right there, haha, and pin it and do a straight stitch all the way around for the top stitch. And literally all the construction for this Marie head is done at this point. All the construction is done at this point after you have done that top stitch. Now it's time to add those details. You can choose to do felt here, but that's way more work than I wanted to do, so I used black acrylic paint for this. You can use fabric paint too, but I don't know why the footage got cut here, but I went and used my original drawing as reference and art that I saw of Marie to go over the black lines, her eyebrows, her eyes, her little ear hollows, whiskers, wrinkles, outline the bow. You can stop here if you want, but I decided to add her little white eye twinkles. So I went back in and cut out some tiny little white felt circles and hand sewed those down. And there it is, it's done. Your super cute Disney pass holder is completed. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. Unfortunately, for the day when we decided to go to Disneyland, our Disney bounds were so stinking cute that the Disney pass holder was too distracting on our outfit, which I'm completely okay with. It actually worked out even better because she has a super cute Ida pink bag that went with her Disney bound. Here's a clip from the Disney bound vlog that I did as my last video. Please check it out. Brittany also did one as well featuring our Disney bounds. I was Ariel, and pink dress Ariel, and she was Marie. So yeah, I'm really excited. Brittany said she's so stoked to be able to use her Marie pass holder for her everyday Disneyland adventures. I'm really happy I chose one to the zipper because it's perfect for your Fast Pass now, because the Fast Pass you have to have your Disneyland ticket with your Fast Pass. So the way I designed the pass holder, she could actually have it with her rate easy access at all times. So yeah, here's just a small little clip, like I said, of that day, and some pictures at the end of this video, and I am so happy with the way this turned out, and I hope you enjoy making your own Disneyland pass holder. Stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching, and have a magical day. Bye!